Hello there, Cancer. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of January 4th through January 10th. Before we get started, I do want to go through some announcements. I do have some group mentoring sessions with some slots still available coming up. One is January the 4th, which is at 1 o'clock my time, Mountain Time. That will be at 3 o'clock Eastern Time or 8 o'clock if you happen to live in the UK. Now, on the 13th, I've got another one showing up. This one is at 12:15 Mountain Time. That's 2:15 Eastern or 7:15 if you live in the UK. And then on the 18th, I've got another one at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock if you live in the UK. And the last one scheduled right now is for 6:30 in the evening on Sunday, the 24th. That's 6:30 Mountain Time. That'll be 8:30 Eastern Time. And for you in the UK, I believe that's 1:30 in the morning on Monday. May not see too many of you there. But anyway, for those of you who are interested in any of those mentoring sessions, get my contact information off of my website, amista.info, and then just let me know and we'll get you hooked up into one of those that works for you. If none of those do work for you, then let me know and we'll find a time that does, and then we'll open it up to other people as well. So that's the announcement. Done with that. Let's get into your reading. First of all, Cancer. I have to tell you, your reading is unusual today in that all of your cards actually fell out of the deck as I was shuffling, which for me is a signal from Spirit that this is an emphatic message. And I was looking at the cards ahead of time, which normally I don't, but when they all fall out, that makes me kind of curious. And I kind of thought, I don't really want to talk about this week with anybody. Can I just put these cards back? But then when I remembered they fell out, I thought, well, I can't put these cards back. I have to talk about this week with you guys. So the first thing that I want to say to you guys, if you do not want to hear about some of these things which are not so hot, this might be a good time to turn off this video. Now, obviously, I don't say that very often. In fact, I don't think I've ever said that before. But I feel like I have to give you what came up here. And so if you don't want any of those kind of seeds planted in your head, those kind of seeds that like I am like not even wanting to share with you, then this might be the time to turn off the video and just forget it. Watch somebody else's forecast, but not mine. However you want to handle that. That might be what I would do if it was me. So, having said that, you guys have been forewarned here. Let's see. So the first thing is that you guys did have an extra card, and Spirit was telling me that this card talks about the overall feeling for the week. So you've got kind of an energy that's kind of coming through and just kind of sitting around, hanging around with you guys for the week. Now, before I continue with this also, I do want to say this is a general reading, so not all of it will apply to everybody. And secondly, I want to remind you all that you all have free will. So if you do hear something that you don't like here, you can make decisions that would influence things into a better direction for you. Okay, so I want to say that coming in up front. And as far as this card that talks about this energy that looks like it's sitting around you guys for the week, Cancers, what came up is the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is a card that really talks about having a situation where you're feeling stuck and you're not quite sure how to move out of this situation. And this situation can tie in with each card that comes up through the week, or this can be, for some of you, I feel like for some of you it will tie in. For others of you, I feel like this will be something completely different that isn't really mentioned through the week, or maybe is only mentioned on one or two cards. But the thing that you need to know about the Eight of Swords cards and this situation of feeling stuck is that when it comes up with the Eight of Swords, that stuckness is because of some kind of restriction or limitation in your own mind that you've put on yourself. So the beautiful part of this is that once you realize that that stuckness is from you, all you have to do is you just look at that place where you're feeling stuck and try to see it from somebody else's perspective. So maybe like imagine, well, what if I told my neighbor about what I've been going through here? What would they have to say about this? What would their reaction be? Anything. It doesn't have to be the neighbor. I mean, it can be, what if I told Mr. Rogers? Doesn't really matter who. It's just the idea of getting a different viewpoint on the situation. And a lot of times you don't even have to have that conversation with somebody else where you're actually explaining what's been going on and seeing what they say. A lot of times if we can lay it out in our own minds, as if we're saying it to our neighbor or our parent or somebody else, we can hear in our minds what they would say back. And it really does sort of rake us free from that rut that we've been in, that thing that we've been holding ourselves in with our own thinking. So that's the key to overcoming this mood that I see as being the theme for the week. And maybe that's why this is what I have to talk to you about, is to help you, to give you this heads up of saying there is a way to get around this. So this is the theme that is playing out throughout the week for you Cancers, unless you can, you know, come at it from a different way and figure out, okay, what is that restriction I'm putting on myself? How do I walk out of this? Okay, so let's look at the cards that came up for each day during the week. And keep in mind, some of these will tie in with that overall energy and some of these may not. So on Monday, what we have coming up is we do have the 9 of Coins in reverse. So this would be talking about, you know, feeling like there are things in your life or about your lifestyle that you want different, that you want to have changed. And maybe you're feeling kind of stuck about, like if this card is tying in, this would say maybe you're feeling kind of stuck about making those changes and you don't know how to make those changes. So this could very easily be the beginning of a week kind of in this cycle. So once again, get somebody else's perspective on it, and that's going to help you break free of that. Tuesday, what we have coming up for you is the Knight of Coins in reverse. Knight of Coins in reverse just means that you're taking some action that is costing you money. So either you're not going into work that day, or if you own your own company, you're not doing what you know you need to do to make the revenue come in. Or it could be that you're out doing some impulse spending on Tuesday, and this spending, or maybe you're having some kind of spending due to you're trying to figure out how to get out of this situation from the overall mood that you feel stuck in. And you're thinking, well, maybe if I spend the money in a certain way, maybe that'll get me out of the situation. Look at that. Look at that. Once again, look at that from a perspective of somebody else. If you told somebody else what you were doing, would it be something that would sound like a sane and logical decision to them? Or would they say, what are you thinking, man? You know, look at that before you spend that money, or before you keep yourself from bringing in that money, however that's going to play out for you with the Knight of Coins reversed. Okay, so let's move forward. Wednesday, Cancers, what we have coming up here is you have the Judgment card. And this is a card that really encourages us to use really good judgment. We have a decision coming in on Wednesday, Cancers, that is something that is going to impact not only you, but other people around you as well. And I would say if there was ever a day that this was really important to get somebody else's viewpoint on your situation, this is the day. Before you make this decision, so you're not stuck in your own mind. Find a solution, find somebody else's perspective, and look at it from maybe from more than one perspective, maybe from, you know, 4 or 5 other perspectives, and get yourself some really objective ways to look at this stuck situation before you make your decision, because you know, if you're making a decision and you're feeling pretty stuck, that's not going to be your best decision. You really want to have some help getting away from that stuck energy. Now, by the way, this is a really good time for a reading. Just saying. All right, so Thursday, what we have coming up is we have the Emperor card for you, Cancer. And this is the Emperor card in reverse. This guy, at his worst, could be highly narcissistic, very toxic person to be around. This is somebody that you're interacting with on Thursday. For most of you, it's a guy. For some of you, it will be a girl. I never nail down genders in a general reading. So this could be somebody that is way short on compliments, but long on complaints, and somebody that really just demands and expects a lot. The more you do for them, the more they expect from you, that type of thing. So that's somebody that you're interacting with on Thursday. And it's really interesting because it feels like he may be a real central part of your situation that you're feeling stuck in. It might be this situation might be surrounding this person. So this could be a boss. For some of you, this does feel like a boss. For others of you, this feels like this could be a significant other or a family member, like a father or an uncle, or, you know, somebody prominent in the family that has some influence. But he feels like he could be at the middle of all of this stuckness, like maybe you're trying so hard to please him that you're kind of forgetting about um, taking care of yourself and pleasing yourself. Okay, so let's move on. That was Thursday. Friday, what you guys have coming up is the moon card in reverse. I love the moon card in reverse. When I'm looking at this card, the first thing that I heard was finally some relief. So I feel like Friday, there is some relief coming up from this situation where you're feeling kind of stuck. And this relief, whenever you have the moon card come up, the moon card talks about that there's a situation in your life that's just fishy. Like you just look at it and you know there's more going on here than meets the eye, but you can't really put your fingers on the rest of what's going on there. Now, when the moon card comes in reverse, like it did for you guys, what that means is that that fishy situation that's been kind of hanging around, now all of a sudden it's like somebody just shone the spotlight on the situation, and now everything adds up. All of a sudden you understand everything. The example that I'm being told to give you guys would be like if somebody is married to somebody else and there's just some weird stuff going on in the relationship, and their partner's acting strange and they're just not exactly sure why. They know something's up, but they just don't exactly know what. And then maybe they come home early from work and the partner's in the bedroom with somebody else that should not be in the bedroom. That's like this type of thing, like the spotlight is on the situation. It's like, that makes sense. Now everything all adds up. You know, this is the type of example that I'm being given to show you guys. So I feel like this is going to be kind of big news whenever it hits. It may not be anything to do with a situation like that at all. It may not have anything to do with a spouse or a partner, but I feel like it's going to be that kind of magnitude for most of you Cancers, where you just have this piece of information that hits you that's just shocking and more than what you were bargaining for, but it makes all the pieces fit together and now you understand what's been going on. So I see that actually coming in for you guys on Friday, Cancers. Once again, I do want to remind you though, this is a general reading, which means not everything that shows up is going to apply to everybody, and you have free will. So how you react to whatever situation does actually come in is important too. All right, so let's move on to Saturday. Okay, so Saturday what we have is we have the Seven of Clubs in reverse. So Seven of Clubs in reverse, wow, right after the moon in reverse. So really the picture that I'm getting here is that after the moon comes in reverse and you have this new information that makes everything click, 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 all the puzzle pieces are fitting now, I feel like you take a stand for yourself. You're like, wait a second, none of this is acceptable. If we want our relationship to continue, or the situation to continue, whether it's a friendship, whether it's an employee-employer relationship, whatever this is, I feel like you take a stand for yourself and you say, if you want this to continue, then some things are going to have to change. So I feel like that comes up right after you get this information. I feel like you just take the bull by the horns and say, okay, some changes are happening here. One way or the other, something's got to give. So on Saturday, what comes up is, okay, you've said your piece. Now it's time to just be quiet and see what happens. It's not time to fight about how they're going to act or what they're going to do. It's time to be quiet, let them do whatever they're going to do, and then take your action, whatever that action is. So if they straighten up their act, then your action may be to continue in your relationship with them at some level. If they don't, if they continue to just ride roughshod over you, then that action may be to withdraw from the situation as quickly and as gracefully as you can. But this is now time to just sit back and see what they do and then make your decisions that you need to make. It's not time to be debating with them, talking with them, convincing them. That time is over. Okay, so that's what I have coming up for Saturday. For Sunday, what I have coming up is I have the Five of Cups showing up in reverse. So Five of Cups showing up in reverse is actually telling me that with this situation, I feel like you already had made some changes once you found out full information, and maybe even before you found out full information, just while you had your suspicions. And so those changes made whatever was going on less of a priority in your life. You were spending more time, more energy, more resources on something else because you knew something was up in this other situation and you didn't want to be too heavily invested there. So you had where before, I feel like before you had any suspicions or before you saw this puzzle piece come in that made everything else fit, I feel like you were making that a priority. It was important to you. You were spending a lot of time, energy, and resources on it. So then you kind of turned away from it, or you put less into it to draw away, to not be so entangled in whatever was going on over here. Well, on Sunday, I feel like you're going ahead and you're putting your priorities back where they used to be. So whatever this was that was going on, that had the fishy situation that came in that you got the information on later on, I feel like this person has given you some reason to believe that they are going to be handling things better and more above board. And so you are coming back into that situation full force the way you used to be. So that's how I see this week working out for you, Cancers. I'm sorry that this looks like a really rough week, and I'm sorry that I had to deliver this message to you, but when the cards fall out, I don't feel like I have a choice. It's not like I can reshuffle and put down new cards, which I don't typically do that anyway, but I would gotta tell you, I was really tempted when I saw these. But it looks like it works out okay in the end anyway. So that's a good thing. So anyway, I do apologize for those of you Cancers who stuck around to see this. And I do appreciate all your likes, your shares, your comments. I appreciate all of you subscribing. I don't blame you if you want to unsubscribe after this, but please don't. So anyway, those of you who are interested in a mentoring session to help expand your intuitive abilities, find my contact information on my website and let me know. Everybody have a fantastic week. Just keep in mind it's going to end up for the best and all in the end. Everybody, I look forward to seeing you here next time. Peace out.